Agak-agak. Cara mau ganti. Oh itu, ibu, bu Saras sih mau pakai sesuatu. Eh, ini mau ganti ganti internet gimana? Ganti ini nih. Dan dulu mau saya pindahin ke sana. Lagi. Sarah.
Morning. We welcome Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Ibu Ica Khadijah, and also Ibu Maki Katsuno Rinkawa to be part of our international workshop. Selamat datang kepada Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Ibu Maki, Ibu Ica Khadijah, Bapak Marzan, selamat bergabung ke dalam kegiatan International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development 2023. Thank you very much for coming into this occasion. Ladies and gentlemen, our agenda is about to start in a few moments. We expect you to be seated. And for the online participant, please mute your voice of your Zoom account and also turn on the camera. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, our agenda is about to start. We expect you to be seated in your sitting position and all the online participants to mute your voice in your Zoom account and also turn on the camera. Good morning. Welcome to the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development 2023 with the featuring theme, Improving Knowledge of Water Security and Sustainable Living for Local Communities. Today at Mercure Hotel Jakarta, 29th by UNESCO within the framework of UNESCO Participation Program for 2022 and 2023 in collaboration with Institute of Technology Indonesia, ITI. This event currently conducted by hybrid offline in Mercure Hotel and Exhibition Jakarta and also online via Zoom meeting. And for that, I would like to also welcome all the speakers and also participants who join us via Zoom meeting. This event also can be watched via YouTube streaming in Institute Teknologi Indonesia YouTube channel. His Excellency, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Sandiaga Salahuddin, Trihandoko, the Honorable Rector of Institute of Technology Indonesia, Dr. Marzan Aziz Iskandar, the Honorary Director of UNESCO Jakarta Office, Ms. Maki Katsuno Rinkawa, Executive Chair of Indonesia National Commission for UNESCO, Dr. Ica Khadijah, Head of Sabang City and Kepulauan Seribu, Bapak Reza Pahlavi, MSI, and Bapak Junaidi, MSI, and its representatives, and all to the keynote speakers, invited speakers, delegates, invited participants, distinguished guests, whom I cannot mention one by one. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Garizi Matini, and it is an honor for me to host you in this very special occasion titled International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development 2023. Before we continue our workshop today, let me announce to you our agenda. We will first start with performing the Indonesian national anthem and also listening to the prayer, and continue with the report from the organizing committee, also welcoming speeches and opening remarks. Going on with the plenary sessions, with the keynote speakers and also invited speakers. All of the speakers are already here for the first day, which will be divided into 3 sessions for today and 4 sessions for the second day. And we will close our agenda with the summary and also a closing remark also in the second day. So ladies and gentlemen, now we will proceed to the first agenda with performing the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. And for that, allow us to mute your Zoom voice. And to all participants here, with due all respect, please stand up to listen our anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, you may have a seat again. Next, move on to our agenda. We will listen the prayer from Bapak Agus Salim MSc from Unsyiah University. To Bapak Agus Salim, the time is yours.
In the name of Allah, most gracious and merciful. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Please allow me to lead the doa in bahasa Indonesia. Ya Allah, ya Tuhan yang Maha Esa, terima kasih kita dapat berkumpul di ruangan ini dalam rangka kegiatan Lokakarya Internasional tentang pulau-pulau kecil. Semoga pertemuan ini membawa manfaat buat kita yang hadir di sini dan juga saudara-saudara kita hadir lewat luring. Mari kita berdoa bersama sesuai kepercayaan masing-masing. Dan bagi rekan-rekan Muslim dengan membaca ulumul Quran. Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. Rabbi zidni ilman warzuqni fahman. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Agus Salim from Oshiah University for conducting the prayer. Excellencies, distinguished guests, delegates, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the remarks and also opening remarks. But before that, I will invite all the remarks speakers to go on a stage. Excellencies, Bapak Trihandoko, and then Ibu Ica Khadijah, Bapak Marzan Aziz Iskandar, Bapak Wahyu Widodo to be on the stage. Okay. Yeah, again, I will invite Bapak Trihandoko, Ibu Ica, Ibu Maki, Bapak Wahyu to be on the stage to start the remarks. It will be easier for us to capture all of you if you are all together on the stage. Thank you. We will start the remark that is about the report from the organizing committee. We will hear the report from the chair of Indonesian National Committee for IOC UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bapak Wahyu Widodo Pandu. The time is yours, Bapak.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Best wishes to all of us. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, and best wishes. To whom I respect, Excellency Mr. Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. Your Excellency, Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Chairman of the National Research and Innovation Agency, Mrs. Ica Khadijah, Ibu, terima kasih, Chairperson for National Commission for UNESCO, Bapak Rektor, Pak Marzan Aziz Iskandar, Rector of the Indonesia Institute of Technology Indonesia, Mrs. Maki Katsuno Hayashikawa, Ibu, Director of UNESCO Office Jakarta, Bapak Mego Pinandito, Deputy Chairman for Development Policy, National Research and Innovation Agency, also colleagues from Korea, from Korean Institute of Ocean Science and Technology, Mr. Yun Ho Lee, also local government from Sabang and Pulau Seribu. Also would like to welcome colleagues and close friends from abroad. We have from the Thailand, Malaysia, South Korea, and Japan for your participation. All the invitees that I cannot mention one by one, but this does not diminish my respect to your presence in this workshop. Again, that we report the research on geophysical, geological, ecological, and social economics aspect of small islands across Indonesia has been done since 1990. But research action to support small islands development for utilization for marine resources such as aquaculture and tourism were started just in 2015. Small islands community face many challenges, including water security, pollution, hygiene, and health, and also the environment. On the other hand, we should need also take into account concerning the sea level rise global warming, and land subsidence. Recent studies shows that the northern coastline of Java Islands, including Jakarta, has receded significantly. The real evidence very clear. We can be seen on the coastline here in Ancol, in the backyard of this hotel, where we are now having this event. Couple years back, we still have sandy beach in Ancol, but now it's gradually diminished, replaced by the seawall because the sea level almost the same level with the land. Small islands may also experience same situation, but so far no data is available now for the small islands data. The main objective of this small islands research and development workshop is to analyze the impacts development activities on ecosystem services of small islands in the Western Pacific and share good practices for small islands development and conservation. The regional working group at present consists of 5 countries, including China, Malaysia, Japan, South Korea, and Indonesia. We wish that this international workshop will provide better understanding and take actions to improve our small islands ecosystem condition and better economy of local communities. Topics of this 2 days workshop covers at least 5 important and interesting topics, which is policy development, water security, community and sustainable living, hygiene and human health, and sustainable economic and environment. This international workshop is also attended by 28 national and international speakers, which will be held today and tomorrow, including from UNESCO IOC Regional Secretariat for Westpac, Bangkok, and Atmospheric and Ocean Research Institute of the University of Tokyo, Japan Institute, and also from Korean Institute Ocean Science and Technology, KIOS. Also the speakers from international, including from the University Science Malaysia, through the video presentation, the Korea Institute Marine Technology Cooperation Research Center, MTCRC, and University of Fuzhou, China. And also for the national speakers will be from BRIN, from IPB University, from ITI, Indonesian Climate Change Trust Fund, region of Seribu Island, and major of Sabang City, and some others. IOC National Committee would like to thank for ET and UNESCO Jakarta office for joint hosting the workshop and supporting for this event. Finally, on behalf of organizing committee, both from BRIN and ITI, I would like also to welcome you on the workshop on small islands. Please accept our sincere apology should you have inconvenient situation during the event. Finally, I wish you to all have a fruitful workshop, learning about the past, understanding the reasons, and the foresight view for the future. Thank you very much. Billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Bapak Wahyu Widodo Pandu, for the report related to this workshop. Ladies and gentlemen, next we will hear the welcoming remarks. The first remarks will be from the Executive Chair of Indonesia National Commission for UNESCO. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ibu Ice Khadijah. The time is yours, Ibu.
The Honorable Bapak Laksana Tri Handoyo, Chairman of National Research and Innovation Agencies. Bapak Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Director of UNESCO Office Jakarta, Ms. Maki Katsuno Hayashikawa, and Bapak Dr. Insinyur Marzan Aziz, Rector of the Institute of Technology Indonesia, Pak Mego Pinandito, Deputy Development Policy, National Research and Innovation Agency, the Chair of National Committee of IOC UNESCO, Bapak Wahyu Widodo Pandu. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan Rahayu. A very good morning for all of you. First of all, on behalf of the Chairman of Indonesian National Commission for UNESCO, the Minister of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, I would like to express my deepest appreciation to the National Research and Innovation Agency, BRAIN, Institute of Technology Indonesia, ITI, and UNESCO Jakarta, that organizing the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development with sub-theme on water security and sustainable living for local communities. In this event, we witnessed the tangible embodiment of collaboration and the exchange of ideas among stakeholders genuinely concerned with the vital issues encompassing research and small islands development. Indonesia, a maritime nation comprised of 17,299 islands, radiates a unique dynamism in its pursuit of progress. Within this 111 islands are categorized as outmost islands, marked by limited infrastructure and constrained economic growth. Safeguarding their terrestrial, aquatic, and marine biodiversity, preserving their heritage, and ensuring equitable access to land and ocean resources stand as imperatives for their sustainable advancement. Yet, these small islands grapple with an array of challenges stemming from their biophysical characteristics. These vulnerabilities expose them not only to climatic and seismic extreme, but also to the complex web of environment threats. These include pollution for groundwater and surface water, sustainable energy access, saline intrusion of soil and coastal erosion, biodiversity loss, and coral bleaching. Population growth, urbanization, and climate change exacerbate these challenges, and particularly affecting groundwater quality and quantity. Irina Bokova, Director General of UNESCO for 2009-2017, astutely stated, small islands are really vast ocean states whose land area is only a part of their territory and whose experience is vital for all the inhabitants of our blue planet. UNESCO identifies the continuing challenges that small islands face in achieving sustainable development. Their unique geographical, biological, and historical legacies, as well as their social and economic characteristics, including their limited size, high levels of population displacement, vulnerability to natural and human-made disasters, and high exposures to economic fluctuation and geopolitical circumstances, result in severe capacity and resource constraint to implement national development goals. The management of small islands requires a comprehensive policy, integral and appropriate in accordance with their existence as areas that have unique potential and characteristic problems. The policy, of course, must be supported by a complete understanding of the conception of the policies, programs, synergetic strategies, effective coordination, and integrated information systems from various parties, programs actors, integrated information system from and management of small islands and management program. Management of small islands will be more focused and optimized for the purpose of defense and security, economic development and conservation defense, and security, economic development, and environmental conservation. In this context, research emerged as an indispensable enabler woven into fabric of scientific and technological progress that elevates lives. Our collective journey converged on Indonesia's 2045 economic goals, pivoting on a maritime economic and core in efficient connectivity, sustainable fisheries, and inclusive maritime tourism. At its core, this vision embraces water resilience and sustainable living, enriching the life of local communities. Once again, I extend my heartfelt appreciation to each and every one of you for gracing us with your presence at the workshop on small island research and development. Let us engage in fruitful discussions and may this event bear forth positive impact for all of us. To close this remark, let me quote a statement by Mahatma Gandhi, who said, "The earth, the air, the land, and the water are not inherited from our fathers, but are on loan from our children. So we must be handed over to them at least as they were handed over to us." Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Ica Khadijah, for the remark. The next remark will be delivered by Director for UNESCO Office Jakarta, to Ms. Paki Katsunori Kawa. The time is yours, Ibu.
So, first of all, may I also follow the previous speakers and to express my appreciation in the presence of the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, Bapak Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, the head of the National Research Innovation Agency, Chair Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Rector of Institute of Technology Indonesia, Dr. Marzan Aziz Iskandar, National Commission for UNESCO Indonesia, our dear Ibu Ica, Deputy Chairman for Policy Development BRIN, Bapak Debo, Chair of National Committee for IOC UNESCO Indonesia, Bapak Wahyu Tanggung, Head of the UNESCO IC Regional Secretariat Westpac. I was a little bit taller. My dear colleague, Wenxi. And then, of course, our distinguished participants connected also virtually, moderators and speakers. A very good good morning. Selamat pagi. I welcome you all to the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development. I would like to first congratulate BRIN and ITI for organizing this international workshop on improving knowledge of water security and sustainable living for local communities. UNESCO is pleased to support and contribute to the international workshop event through UNESCO's participation program. The UNESCO participation program functions as a vital complement to UNESCO's regular activities, serving to strengthen the partnership between UNESCO and its member states to jointly realize UNESCO's mission to promote peace and security through intellectual and knowledge collaboration partnerships in education, the sciences, culture, and communication. This international workshop builds on the ongoing small islands studies carried out by national and international scientists and the trend in small island development. Therefore, it's aligned with UNESCO's programs to support the sharing and dissemination of results of research and to improve knowledge and understanding water security and sustainable living on small islands. Ladies and gentlemen, the study focuses on the tourist destination islands of Indonesia, Pari Island and Wei Island, which I hope to visit someday, that potentially face a risk of unsustainable living in the future. These islands are fragile to hydrometeorological hazards, sea level rise, and extreme weather impacts that contributes to the water security of these islands. Tourism development is always a double-edged sword. We need to recognize that while tourism is economically significant for local communities, it also amplifies the demand for freshwater resources and environmental footprints. The surge in consumption strains the already limited supplies, fragile ecological capacity, and poor waste in treatment infrastructure. Therefore, we always need to monitor the delicate balance between economic growth through tourism development and ensuring water security and ecosystem conservation. Mismanagement of water issues can damage the allures of such small islands. There are several potential technical interventions to water security at local levels that can be used as good practices, such as rainwater harvesting, energy efficient desalination, localized or decentralized wastewater treatment systems, eco-friendly sanitation, and our water reuse. However, such technical interventions should be bolstered by community-based management and public awareness that will require collaboration beyond the local capacities of these small islands. We must also admit that some challenges small islands face come from outside, such as marine debris and leak spills that go beyond their local capacities to address. There's a need to have more closer collaboration with the tourism sector, as well as national and local governments, in implementing water security measures, promoting education and awareness and necessary policy actions for small islands. Distinguished participants, Indonesia may not be a small islands developing state or SIDS, but it is a country with many small islands, as we heard, and there are many challenges that are common to other SIDS countries. It seems most appropriate that this workshop thus examines the cases of Pari and Wei Islands, as these islands present unique research opportunities as prime locations for water security and sustainable development research. Their unique position as small tourist attractive islands and close to big islands and populated centers can offer invaluable insights for national research in similar regions globally. I believe the discussions taking place in this workshop could also well inform UNESCO's work on the Managed Biosphere Reserves, or MAB, program, which is often recognized as the living laboratory of sustainable development. As UNESCO Jakarta prepares to convene a Southeast Asia Biosphere Reserve Network, or SIRaD in short, a meeting in Wakatobi Island, another small and touristic island in Indonesia next year in 2024, I hope that this initiative on the small island research and development could eventually be presented in a special session focusing on small islands, Southeast Asia at the SIRaD meeting in 2024. Furthermore, next year, 2024, will be very, very exciting and busy year for experts and stakeholders in the field of water security and ocean, as the government of Indonesia will be hosting the 10th World Water Forum in Bali, May 2024. I hope the outcomes of this workshop could be shared at the forum as well, where water challenges in small islands developing states shall be featured. Let me then close my remarks by wishing you a productive, interesting discussions and sharing and learning in these 2 days workshop. And I thank Bryn for the ITE and all the other organizers for the hard work dedicated to preparing this very important event. Thank you very much. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Ibu Baki, for your remark. Ladies and gentlemen, in this fine occasion, I would also like to invite the Director of Indonesia Institute of Technology Indonesia to deliver his remarks. Please welcome Bapak Marzan Aziz Iskandar. The time is yours.
Honorary Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy, yang terhormat Bapak Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno, Head of National Research and Innovation Agency, Dr. Laksana Trihandoko. Representative of UNESCO, Dr. Ice Khadija, MA from National Commission for UNESCO, Ms. Maki Katsuno Hayashikawa, Director of UNESCO Office Jakarta, Chair of Indonesia National Committee for IOC UNESCO Program, Dr. Wahyu Widodo Pandu, international speakers, national speakers, workshop participants from various social organizations, research institute, government representatives, and universities, which attending offline and online, and all invitees. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning and best wishes to all of us. First of all, let us praise and thank God for the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because of his grace and guidance, we are given the strength and health so that we can gather together in this very important workshop. Welcome to the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Institute of Technology Indonesia, as an organizer or co-host together with BRIN and supported by UNESCO, I would like to express our utmost gratitude and appreciation to all attendees, both speakers, participants who have joined this international workshop on small island research and development with sub-theme improving knowledge and water security and sustainable living for local communities. As we already know that Indonesia as an archipelagic country consists of more than 17,000 islands, the majority of which are small islands or cluster of small islands. On this workshop, we will disseminate the research and development research and also discuss the potential for developing these small islands as a marine tourism destination and the challenge they face in meeting water needs and improving the living standards of local residents. Over the workshop of today, starting from today and concluding tomorrow, we will be honored to host speakers from UNESCO, BRIN, ET, as well as representatives from Seribu Island, Way Island, and we also learn from the experience from international speakers from Japan, South Korea, Malaysia, and China. The participants representing various stakeholders are expected to explore various perspectives on small island management, particularly for tourism purposes. This includes topics ranging from small island policy and management, policy development, water security, sustainable living, hygiene and human health, sustainable economy and environment. As an organizer of this event, we hope that this workshop will result in a number of recommendations on how to build and develop small islands into enjoyable tourist destinations for visitors, generating positive impacts on the country's revenue, and most importantly, enhancing the local community economy. All of this to be achieved without harming the environment. I'm confident that there are several aspects need to be considered or even need to be regulated to attain such condition. From our international speakers, we will learn valuable lessons about proper small island management that benefits all stakeholders. We hope these lessons can be adapted to the local conditions of Way Island and Pari Island. Moving forward, similar approaches can certainly be applied to other small islands across various parts of Indonesia. With this, I would like to conclude my address. Once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all attendees for their participation on this workshop. I wish you a productive workshop, and I apologize for any shortcomings or mistakes in its execution. Thank you very much for your attention. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Bapak Marzan Aziz Iskandar, for the remark. I would like to invite the head of National Research and Innovation Agency, Republic of Indonesia, to deliver his remark, as well as officially open this event altogether, Bapak. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Bapak Laksana Trihandoko. The time is yours.
Terima kasih. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. Very good morning for all of you. So the Honorable, the representative from our Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, my old colleague, Bu Nika. We have also Honorable Bu Ice from our National Commission for UNESCO. And of course, my old colleague also, Dr. Marzan Iskandar, Marzan, the rector of IT, Institute of Technology Indonesia. And we have also Mrs. Maki, from the director of UNESCO office in Jakarta. And we have Mr. Wengzi, from Westpac IOC. And Mr. Yun Ho Lee from Kios. And we have also my Deputy Chairman, Pak Mego, Deputy Chairman for Development Policy of BRIN, and of course, Dr. Wahyu Pandu, our Chair for National Committee for IOC UNESCO in Indonesia, distinguished speakers and all participants. So on behalf of National Research and Innovation Agency, BRIN, I would like to greatly welcome you all in this international workshop. And I also greatly appreciate your participation and for attending this event today and until tomorrow, right? Yeah, tomorrow, yeah. So this international workshop, the topic is very, very relevant for all of us, in particular for us in Indonesia, because as you may know that Indonesia is a big archipelagic country with so many small islands. And under a basic principle of our national development strategy, that no one left behind. So we have paid a lot of effort and also attention to develop, including the livelihood and also to improve the quality of life of our people, in particular living in our small islands scattered across the country. And of course, there are so many challenges on developing small islands, as already mentioned by Bu Ice and also by Ms. Maki and Mas Pandu, ranging from the basic utilities problem, like electricity supply and also the communication, because everyone is depending on communication right now, and also how we could overcome the natural challenges, like the clean water and also fresh water supply, and also seawater intrusion and subsidence maybe in some cases, and also some pollutions coming from marine debris and so on and so forth. And we also should think about the socio-cultural problem, how we could keep the balance well between the development and also the heritage, as already pointed out by Bu Ice previously. So actually, BRIN has conducted many, in particular, basic research, on small islands since many, many years ago. So follow it actually that was most of the research were pioneered by formerly known as the Indonesian Institute of Sciences, but we are committed to continue conducting basic and also applied research on our small islands. Yeah, so since many years ago, we have been conducting, carrying out basic research and applied research on some of our small islands like Bia Island, Ambon, it's still ongoing, right? Ambon, and also Pulau Pari, Pari Island, Key Kecil Island, and also Weh Island, in Sabang. Yeah, so in regard to small island, I believe that there are so many common issues, among countries in this region. So that is the reason, the main reason why
Recording in progress.
Participants, from surrounding neighboring countries, in this event, because of course, because we have shared the same seawater, and there is no border on the sea, and we share also the same ocean. So I do believe that we could share our experience and also existing technology, to overcome some problems, in regard to the small island, as I already mentioned before. So concluding my remarks, I again highly appreciate our National Committee for IOC UNESCO, led by Mas Pandu, and of course, I would like to thank also to UNESCO, in particular UNESCO office in Jakarta, and also KNEU, led by Bu Ice, for your support. And I wish you successful workshop, having fruitful discussion, and for colleagues from abroad, in particular, enjoy your stay in Jakarta. And as already requested by the organizer, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially declare this international workshop on small island research and development, improving knowledge of water security and sustainable living for local communities open. Thank you very much. Terima kasih. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi Santi Santi.
Thank you, Bapak Laksana Trihandoko. Excellencies Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Ibu Maki, Ibu Ice, and Pak Marzan. I will also invite all of you to really officially, open this program, this workshop, with striking the gong all together. So with all respect of excellencies, Bapak Laksana, Ibu Maki, Pak Rektor, and Ibu Ice. Okay, here is the gong. Okay, all together. Pak Wahyu, you may join as well. Yeah. So with striking this gong, this workshop will be officially begin. Don't forget to say 1, 2, 3 or smile, Pak Laksana, Pak Maki. Yes, don't forget to smile. Okay. Thank you very much, the excellencies, Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Ibu Maki. Please stay on the stage, Bapak Ibu, Pak Laksana, Bu Maki, because we will have the souvenirs to all of you. You may go back to the stage. So there are little souvenirs from BRIN, Republic of Indonesia, to Ibu Maki, Ibu Ice Khadijah, and also Pak Marzan. Excellencies, with all respect, Bapak Trihandoko, to give the souvenirs to Pak Marzan. Yes, Bapak Laksana Trihandoko will give the souvenirs to Pak Marzan. I will also invite Pak Mego Pinandito to give the souvenirs to Ibu Maki. And also Pak Wahyu Widodo to Ibu Ice. Yes. Okay, so Bapak Laksana Trihandoko already give the placard to Ibu Maki, and then Bapak Mego Pinandito to Bapak Rektor, Bapak Marzan. Yeah, this is the little souvenirs for our remembrance, our memory. That means we have a great partnership with BRIN, UNESCO, and also Institute of Technology Indonesia. And the last one, Ibu Ice. Yeah. Bapak Wahyu will give the souvenir to Ibu Ice. Yeah. Have applause. Right. Thank you very much for all the remarks. The last one is photo session, Bapak Ibu. Sekalian saja. We will have a photo session to save our togetherness today. I will also invite all the participants that joins online. So yeah, you all of the all of the remarks can stay on the stage. Can I have the photographer, Mas Anai, to to help me do the photo session? Yes. All participants, please turn on your camera because it will be the photo sessions between all the remarks speakers and also the participants. Okay, one more time, perhaps gaya bebas mungkin jempolnya atau semangat. Okay, one more time photo session with the participant who are here, Bapak Ibu. Okay, yeah, yeah. Please, all participants here, may I have you to stand up? Mohon berdiri supaya bisa kelihatan semua. Oke, mohon bantuannya, fotografer, untuk mengatur sesi foto ini. Bapak Ibu partisipan silahkan memposisikan dirinya saja supaya terlihat di dalam frame. Sekali lagi, online participants masih turn on camera. Silahkan. Boleh maju ke depan Bapak Ibu, silahkan. Bapak Ibu silahkan maju ke depan. Mari kita simpan kenangan ini untuk ke depannya, bahwa workshop ini diadakan bersamaan dengan UNESCO, BRIN, dan juga ITI. Sekali lagi, gaya bebas mungkin. Oke, jangan lupa senyumnya, smile. Ya. Oke, ada yang mau titip handphone mungkin? Oke, thank you very much Bapak Laksana Trihandoko, Ibu Maki, Ibu Ica Hodijah. Oke, a little announcement untuk Bapak Trihandoko, Bapak Marzan, Ibu Ica, dan Ibu Maki. There will be a press conversation, interview from the pairs. One more time, Ibu Maki, Ibu Ica Hodijah, Bapak Marzan, and juga Bapak Trilaksana Trihandoko. All of you will have a conversation with pairs, with media. So you may go to the VIP room to have to have the interview. Bapak Ibu sekalian, mohon duduk kembali. Kita akan melanjutkan acara kita. Thank you Ibu Maki, Bapak Laksana, Ibu Ica Hodijah, and Bapak Marzan. Sekali lagi, Bapak Marzan dan Ibu Ica untuk hadir ke ruang VIP. Oke, Bapak Ibu sekalian, sambil menunggu kedatangan Bapak Salahuddin Uno, mungkin Bapak Ibu ingin sedikit coffee break, silahkan. Kami sediakan di depan. Iya, sambil menunggu Pak Sandiaga, we are still waiting Bapak Sandiaga Uno to join with us. He will join us at 10 a.m. Okay, little announcement again. Sabang City representative, perwakilan dari Sabang mungkin bisa hadir ke ruang VIP untuk melaksanakan interview bersama pers, bersama Bapak Laksana, Ibu Maki, Ibu Ice, dan Pak Marzan. Ibu Ice mohon maaf, boleh ke VIP room dulu sebentar. Pak Marzan juga. Baik, sambil menunggu Bapak Sandiaga untuk hadir bersama kita, Bapak Ibu kami persilahkan untuk sekedar coffee break di depan ruangan ini. Tapi jangan lama-lama Bapak Ibu. Kami akan memulai plenary session yang pertama. Sambil menunggu Bapak Salahuddin Uno. Sekali lagi perwakilan dari Sabang, local government dari Sabang, boleh join di VIP room untuk interview bersama dengan pers dan Pak Laksana Trihandoko. Udah oke. Oke Bapak Ibu sekalian, sambil coffee break, jangan jauh-jauh. Ambil snacknya di luar, makannya di dalam. Terima kasih kepada online partisipan yang sudah hadir. Kita sambil menunggu plenary session, sekaligus menunggu Bapak Excellency Salahuddin Uno, Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno untuk bergabung bersama kami. Yes, Bapak Ibu sekalian yang masih di luar, kami tunggu di dalam. Karena sekitar 7 menit lagi kita mulai sesi plenary pertama. We will start the plenary session, the first plenary session in 7 minutes. Bapak Ibu yang masih di luar kami harapkan bisa masuk ke dalam untuk melanjutkan kegiatan kita. Kita kegiatannya lumayan banyak. We will have a quite crowded schedule. So please go back inside after you have your coffee break. Satu, dua, tiga. Satu, dua. Bapak Ibu sekalian, ladies and gentlemen, boleh masuk kembali ke ruangan. Kita akan mulai sesi pertama. Tim panitia kami boleh minta bantuannya. Pada tim panitia kami boleh minta bantuannya untuk kembali memasukkan peserta ke dalam ruangan pelangi 2. Sekali lagi Bapak Ibu sekalian, silahkan masuk kembali ke ruangan. Kami akan melanjutkan dengan sesi 1. Sesi 1 akan diisi oleh Bapak Wensi Zu, Prof. Saito, kemudian Bapak Tony Wagi. Bapak Ibu sekalian, silahkan kami tunggu di ruangan. Pada tim panitia, kami boleh minta bantuannya untuk kembali memasukkan peserta, untuk mendorong peserta kembali ke ruangan. Sekali lagi, Bapak Ibu peserta International Workshop, silakan kembali ke dalam ruangan. Kita akan memulai sesi pertama. We will start the first session in a few moments, Bapak Ibu. will start after Excellency Bapak Sandiaga Uno give his remark. We are still waiting for Bapak Sandiaga to be on cam. He is already joining with us, but he will on cam in a few minutes and then give his remark. After the remark from Bapak Salahuddin Uno, we will start the plenary session 1. Bapak Ibu, jadi mohon kesabarannya. Ada lagi kah pertanyaan? Ya. Ya. Oke, Bapak Ibu, in a few moments Bapak Sandiaga will be on cam. Begitu on cam, we will directly start the speech. Oke, mohon bersabar Bapak Ibu. Oke, sekali lagi. Right now, and without further ado, please welcome to Excellencies Bapak Sandiaga Salahuddin Uno to give his remarks. The time and the screen is yours, Bapak Salahuddin Uno. Silahkan. Yes, give applause. Bapak Salahuddin, Bapak Sandiaga pakai belangkon, Bapak Ibu. Silahkan di unmute dulu Bapak Ibu, Bapak Sandiaga. Hai. Hari ini ganteng sekali Bapak Sandiaga. Sedikit lost connection. Ya, agak putus-putus Bapak.
Oke, bukan putus-putus. Tadi saya dibisukkan oleh teman-teman MC yang bertugas. Terima kasih. Selamat pagi.
Pagi Bapak. Selamat pagi. Oke, kita masih menunggu Bapak Ibu. Sedikit putus-putus. Masih putus-putus Bapak Sandiaga. Putus-putus Bapak. Kita masih tunggu ya Bapak. Mohon bersabar. Oke. Apakah ada informasi dari stafnya? Masih putus-putus Bapak Sandiaga? Ya, mungkin bisa diberitahukan. Nah, itu beliau di situ. Beliau ganti device. Silakan Bapak Sandiaga, boleh melanjutkan. Oke, kita masih menunggu Bapak Ibu sebentar ya. Beliau mengganti device ya. Apakah Pak Sandiaga sudah bergabung kembali? Ya, mungkin beliau sedang dalam perjalanan, jadi sinyalnya.
Oh enggak, sinyalnya bagus kok.
Oke, sinyalnya bagus. Baik, silakan Bapak dilanjutkan.
Baik, terima kasih. Mohon maaf. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Selamat pagi, shalom, swastiastu, namo buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sehat, salam harteknas, penuh semangat, rahayu, rahayu, rahayu. Welcome to the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development, SIRaD, with the theme of improving knowledge of water security and sustainable living for local communities. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Chairman of BRIN, my very good friend, Dr. Laksono T. Handoko. Thank you, Bapak Chairman, for your presence, and we like to promote closer relationship between the ministry and BRIN in relations how we could improve issues that we are facing, including the pollution in Jakarta, with the help of BRIN's research. And we're looking for more green spaces to support green tourism. Chair of Indonesia National Committee for IOC UNESCO Program, Dr. Wahyu Widodo Pandu. Thank you so much, Doctor. MA Executive Chair of the Indonesian National Commissions for UNESCO, Dr. Ice Khadijah. Director of UNESCO Office Jakarta, Dr. Maki Katsuno Hayashikawa. Ohayo gozaimasu. Rector of Institute Technology of Indonesia, Dr. Marzan Aziz Iskandar. All of the participants, international and national speakers. It is with great honor and privilege to stand before you as speaker at the esteemed International Workshop on Sustainable Island and Regional Development, SIRaD, Sustainable Marine Tourism Development in Small Islands. The biodiversity and marine potential in Indonesia is humongous, an expansive archipelago comprising over 17,000 islands, provides a unique canvas that blends astonishing catalog of approximately 80,000 species of flora and fauna. Indonesia coral reefs, 76% of world coral species and 37% of world coral fish are found in Indonesia. Small islands play host to pristine snorkeling paradises, diving enterprises. The pristine waters provide exceptional visibility, and also that Indonesia's marine ecosystem serve as captivating laboratories for scientific explorations. As the world's largest archipelagic nation, Indonesia holds immense potentials for sustainable tourism development. Me and my colleagues at the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy have been focusing on remarkable positive transformations, focusing on economic growth, how the tourism sectors have emerged post-pandemic as a powerful catalyst for Indonesia's economic prosperity, contributes significantly to economic growth and a notable increase in our country's GDP. Job creations. Tourism creates 6 times more jobs than other sectors, bringing opportunities for local communities. Empowerment of local communities. Sustainable tourism empowers communities, make them participate on preservations of culture and traditions, whereby sustainable tourism safeguards Indonesia's rich culture and it preserves art, music, dance, and traditions. Enhance social and environmental awareness, underlying the global issues like climate change, fostering collective actions to preserve our planet for future generations. And last but not least, development of sustainable innovations with global aspirations through local wisdom. An engine of eco-friendly innovations, renewable energy, improved waste management, and reducing single-use plastics. Key initiatives on the Sustainable Tourism Development Program have been on the destinations, observatory, certifications, industry, responsible marketing, and tourism management. By executing these programs, we strive for an approach that not only generates economic benefits, but also safeguards and preserves the natural environment and local communities engaging in the tourism industry. We're thinking about regenerating the whole sectors. Our collaborations with Jejak.in, a tool that calculates a balance of the carbon footprints of tourism on Indonesia.travel website, let travelers and businesses measure their environmental impact through carbon footprint calculator. We have been doing great in the past few years by pioneering initiatives by Indonesia MATSI, Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy, activities such as plastic waste management in marine tourism, guideline for sustainable tourism, all the way to tourism village and many other that focus on sustainable tourism industry. We also continue to create various programs we call 3G, Gercep, quick movement, Keber, moving together, and Gaspol, exploring all job potentials in the epicentrum of quality and sustainable tourism hub in global as well Asia Pacific. As we navigate the landscape of sustainable tourism, we encounter a duality of challenges and opportunities that shape the courses of our journey. Challenges such as environmental degradations, infrastructure pressures, cultural impact, and over-tourism. Quality has to be the opportunities going forward. Sustainable practices are the opportunities. Community involvement are wide open tasks that we need to create. Education and awareness, those are great opportunities. Conservation funding, there's a lot of money wants to invest in sustainable tourism, and innovations where we see challenges that actually spurs innovations. And to create a tourism model that resonates with both visitors and host communities, we must strike a delicate balance. In conclusion, we at the government, we have the vision for sustainable marine tourism, and we would like to work with you all to integrate growth where economic prosperity coexists with environmental conservation and cultural vitality. The future includes and centers around small island states will become the beacon for responsible tourism, for regenerative tourism, where travelers experience the wonders of nature while contributing to the preservation and happiness for these cherished destinations. I thank you all, and we would like to close with a vote of thank you to everybody, and wabillahi taufiq walhidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om.
Thank you, Bapak Sandiaga Uno, for your remarks. It is very fruitful and knowledgeable, Bapak. Sepertinya Bapak
Thank you
sudah
so much. Thank you. And
nice trip, Bapak. Thank you.
thank you. I'm in Jakarta, whereby the air quality index is 38, which is very, very nice. And in Jakarta, when I left this morning, it was 170. So, Pak Laksono, Handoko, let's work together to improve the quality of our lives, and through sustainable marine tourism and SIRaD collaborations, I am optimistic that we could achieve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bapak Sandiaga. Please, may I have several minutes, Bapak? We will have a photo session sebentar.
Yes, yes, please.
I have a help from the photographer to capture this moment. Not only Pak Sandiaga, but also the participant, all of the participant. Okay. Perhaps, yeah, Prof. Zainab, Pak Rektor, Bu Maki will go on the stage, perhaps, yeah. to take a photo
Or
together.
you
Yeah.
can do near. Yeah, over there is fine. Very nice. Okay, look at the camera here.
Baik.
Yes, the camera is over here. Oops.
Silahkan Bapak Ibu. Kita foto
Don't cover the projector.
Ya, boleh dimatikan
Yes.
projektornya mungkin. Sorry.
Jangan, proyektornya harus nyala, Bu MC, supaya kelihatan akunya.
Dari dulu proyektornya, sorry.
Please, your hand is covering the projector, sir.
Oke, raise your hands jika sudah mulai fotonya. Ya, mungkin bisa bergabung Pak Ardito. Baik. Baik, saya berikan aba-aba. In 3, 1, 2, 3. Smile Bapak Ibu. Boleh. Oke, sekarang boleh gaya bebas sekali lagi. Gaya bebas. Gaya bebasnya Pak Sandiaga boleh. Nah. Oke, smile jangan lupa. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eileen.
Stage. Thank you Bapak
Thank
Sandiaga
you.
for having with us.
Thank you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We love you all. And thank you, Eileen, for sending me a very nice
Have you Bapak.
chat.
Thank you.
Bye, Eileen Tan.
Ya, baik.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Baik, sampai jumpa kembali Bapak Ibu, Pak Sandiaga. Baik, Bapak Ibu, kita lanjutkan acara pada hari ini. We will continue our agenda for today. We are coming to the pinnacle of this workshop, that is the plenary session. There will be 3 sessions for this first day, and then the first sessions for the second day. The first session will be will invite Mr. Wen Shizu, head of UNESCO IOC Regional Secretariat for Westpac, Prof. Hiroaki Saito from the Atmosphere and Ocean Research Institute, University of Tokyo, and Dr. Tony Wegi, Director Executive Indonesian Climate Change Trust Fund, and will be on behalf of the moderator, will be Professor Zainal Arifin, from Green, and also as the minutes of meeting recorder will be Dr. Nur Cahyo Arianto from Green. All of the moderator and also minutes of meeting recorder are familiar, are the expert of the oceanography. So it will be very interesting to have this session. Before we start, let me have the topic of sessions. So the topic of the sessions will be sustainable use of marine resources, development policy and on small island, climate impact and water security, appropriate technology for small island, sustainable living related to hygiene and also human health. Okay, with due all respect, please welcome Professor Zainal Arifin to be on the stage, and also Bapak Nur Cahyo. May I have your applause, Bapak Ibu sekalian? Ya, silakan Bapak Wadsi, Pak Prof. Saito, kemudian Pak Tony. Ya.
So good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So we will start the first session on small island and development research with the agenda on small island policy and management. So in this session, small island have an essential role play in putting the place the policy and institutional arrangement that allow management effort to be succeed. So we here have three guests, excellent speaker. So the first is Dr. Wang Siju. He is my old colleague, and he has committed on various issues science. The second speaker will be Professor Hiroaki Saito. He is also my long friend at GSPS, Japan Society for Promotion of Science. He is a professor at Atmospheric and Ocean Research Institute at the University of Tokyo. So he will later on share the topic of the talk. And then the last speaker, the third speaker, is my younger brother actually. He is Tony Wage. We study at the same university, at the same city in Canada. So we have a long colleague and friends. Yeah. So let's to make it short. I would like to invite Professor Wang Siju, Dr. Wang Siju, to talk on small island research and development from perspective of regional development. So Pak Wang Siju will talk on a regional perspective, and then two other speakers will be at a national perspective from Japan side and also from Indonesian side. So Pak Wang Siju, please do.
Thank you very much, Pak Zainul, and thank you very much our distinguished delegates and participants for this very important meeting. So my name is Wen Shi, and I'm working for the UNESCO IOC regional office. We call it IOC Subcommission for the Western Pacific. So very important, I think in the opening session, and many distinguished speakers very much highlight the socio-economic, the role of small islands to the national social development, national social economic development plan. So my talk will be, try to highlight, I think because Indonesia is an archipelago state with a lot of small islands, but I try to review the increase on the voice of small islands at international and the regional policy, and also try to come up with several comparisons among several countries in terms of their integrated island management, the policy, the legal, and also management framework. And finally, I will conclude on some very preliminary thoughts. How we are further promote the small island research development in this region. So next, please. Okay, so I will start my talk by quoting the very famous, the Honorable former Foreign Affairs Minister of Marshall Islands, Brun Debram. He is a very much, international or recognized advocate for the landmark Paris Agreement. He also very much international recognized voice for small island, including small island countries in the climate negotiations. So indeed, I think from these words, I think indeed islands, why I say islands offer a glimpse of the future as they are very much vulnerable, right? To climate change and also to their escalating human impact. I think many distinguished speakers repeatedly emphasizing the island is important. So next, please. So I think although, when we come to the island, Even the definition, I think the definition of island is still elusive. But we all, I think, agree that the islands, strictly speaking, is a piece of land surrounded by water, right? Although some are very big, but it's too big, so we're not considered as an island. So we talk about island, we just generally consider a land of a piece of land surrounded by water. So the island, I think, is very important, simply because, it's bounded, limited, and isolated. Particularly because the isolation over the long term. I think the long term, not 10 years, 100 years. It's over the geological years, right? Eras. So that exerts evolution force that result in that many islands have become the home of the most worth in Europe and fascinating wildlife. So I think the most famous example could be the finch species in the Palagos Island in Ecuador. That was also called Darwin finch, simply because Darwin is the first scientist to study and document it, the adaptation, because of no competition, no predators in some isolated area. So some species get used to adapt to the environment. So the Darwin finch, I think, adapt to their food. You see the very famous, the photo here, the finch in the islands, some big become very big because they need to take the food from the seashell, from the very strong shell or seafood. Some finch, the big become thin because they just simply take their nutrient from flowers. So I think another famous also example we can also find in Indonesia, the famous Komodo dragon, right? So we call it giant lizards, simply whose appearance and aggressive behavior. So let people, to recognize at beginning as they call it Komodo dragon. So a lot of example because of the isolation. So that make the island become the home to many, biodiversity, become biodiversity hotspot, and also many specific and species in the world, which you couldn't find in other place of the world. So this is very important. I think the island also obviously is a biodiversity hotspot. I think many mentioned this as well. It's home to more than 20% of the birds, reptile, and different plant species, right? Island also serve as a key foundation for coral reefs because the landmass effects, right? When there's a landmass in the ocean, the nutrients from the deeper cool water rise up to the ocean, rise up to the surface, right? Creating condition for sea life to thrive. So you can say many islands are founded, by coral reef. So I think our island also very important because they support a lot of people. I think many people also highlight Indonesia. I don't know how many population people living in island, but globally, there's a figure 600 million are living on islands, right? So island, they are living independent on island and marine ecosystem for livelihood. I think many, colleagues here are working on seaweed industry in order to improve the livelihood of the local communities. So this is something I think, over the years, evolution, right? And with the people, interaction with the people, the wonderful long years, culture, tradition, history, also enrich the beautiful place in the world. So I think this is important for us to look specifically at the importance of island and the people and the culture and the tradition from behind. I think culture is important. The blood, right? To carrying forward our generation over the history and over the times. So next, please. Next, please. So island also, I think is something right. So because, as I mentioned, the isolation, I think generated fascinating, right? Socio-economic context for our island and the people. But on the other hand, island development, economy, remain the most vulnerable of all developing areas. The reason is very simple, because it's, small population and remote isolation, remote locations. So it's far from the mainland. That means the high cost of transportation, right? And also the fragile island and the marine ecosystem. We always say, yes, very vulnerable, particularly in the sea level rise. In the sea level rise and the climate change induced or human impact induced rise. So also vulnerable to natural disaster like typhoon, storm surge, those kind of things. So these challenges are vulnerable, I think, since 1960s, 70s prompted a lot of international policy, which try to put island, or later on evolve into small island developing countries, right? Put a special attention to the islands and also the islands and supporting those local communities. We have UN Agenda 21 that formulated in 1922. Yes, at the first, I think, UN World Conference about environment and sustainability. I think the definition of sustainable development is the first time was raised at the first, the World Summit on Environment and Sustainable in 1992 in Rio. Later on, this kind of recognition was further strengthened by Barbados program actions and also the World Summit for Sustainable Development in 2022. So this is all kind of a international policy framework whose movement indeed, reflects the concern of the international community about islands and also small island developing countries. So those kind of action framework all call for, urgent action at different level, local, national, regional, and international level for those priority issues that has been faced by small islands, like fresh water, right? Like the sewage treatment, like the solid waste management, vulnerability to the, to the economies and also the susceptibility to the, economic shocks. I think the ongoing COVID-19, I think also reflects island economy has a very, vulnerability, high level vulnerability to this kind of, exogenous economic shocks, because there's a very limited diversification of economy on the island, right? So many livelihoods maybe only depend on one sector or limited sectors. So this is something, next please. So with the importance, our small island and small island developing country has been heavily increased, recognized. So many countries, I think, start to consider how to manage, how to conserve, how to develop our islands in a more sustainable way, right? We talk about sustainable development ocean, but we should also consider how to sustain the development of our islands, including those kind of uninhabited islands, right? So obviously, I think the conventional management, I think over the long history of human era, has been very much focused on one sector, single activity, single concerns. So that's why our shift, I think since 50 years ago, our shift called for a more ecosystem-based approach management, right? Has been gradually accepted by more and more countries. So ecosystem, I think, is not EBM. I think it's not something very new to all of you, particularly for natural resources management, for land and seascape management practitioners. It very much emphasis on, provide interdisciplinary approach that can balance ecological, social, and governance principle at some specified temporal, spatial, temporal and also spatial skills to achieve the sustainable resources use. So, and also during the EBM process, the scientific knowledge definitely have very important role. Scientific knowledge and effective monitoring were used to acknowledge the collection, integrity, biodiversity within a given ecosystem, and also with a stakeholder engaged in, right, in this integrated approach to reflect their concern, reflect their needs. So where finally the decision could really, as much as possible, reflect their societal choice. So the EBM, ecosystem-based management, I think has become a prominent topic for several decades. And although, the key principle of EBM, continuous development, but here, in terms of island development, I just, listed the 4 key principles, or, and try to make some comparison, among countries in terms of island management. So namely here, I list typical law and legislation and the institutional arrangement and management scope, management method, and also stakeholder engagement. So legal and the system. Definitely, I think the island management is similar to the ocean integrated management, where the country, in light of the importance, the unique role of the island in their whole national socio-economic plan, whether the country has formulated a laws or regulation exclusively dedicated to islands, right? This is the law regulation. And based on the law regulation, whether the country, based on science, technology, and also monitoring, whether the country has come up with a national island development plan based on different islands, different location, different function, and come up with different development plan. So second, institutional arrangement. I'm not very clear, so far, whether the island has been scattered among different ministries, or whether there are strong centralized coordination mechanism for all island management, including resources, right? And the third is the management scope. Definitely ecosystem-based approach, as I emphasized many times, and also management method, whether really, build on effective science, monitoring, and apply adaptive management. To apply our adaptive management, we have cited our very good, scientifically reliable, environmental, or now people say ecological baseline, including socioeconomic baseline, whether we can monitor that baseline, the change, their trends, based on the regular survey, regular investigation, regular assessment. So last but not least, stakeholder engagement. This is very much, I think, similar to the principle of spatial planning. The resources, including island resources, are limited, and the different user has a different requirements. Even local community, right, have a different needs, different requirements. Whether we can engage the different stakeholder into the planning process and achieve the win-win approach, one side to improve the livelihood, on the other side, to sustainable conservation of the ecosystem that had been heritated over the generations, right? So this is something, I think 5 key principles I leave here. Next, please. So this is I think national practice here, maybe too far, not very clear. So I put several countries on US, Korea, China, UK, Japan, and Maldives, right? Based on the 5 key principles for EBM, right? I think in some countries, but US management, I think integrated management, I think is very unique. We know the island management has been scattered mainly, by the NOAA, Coast Guard, and also Ministry of mineral resources. And also beyond that, they also have the National Coordination Committee, right? For how to say consultation among different ministries in different years. In terms of Korea, I think Korea developed very fast, particular since 21st century. I think it's very interesting. And Korea put the legislation on island much earlier than the law on coastal management. I think since the 1980s, Korea already formulated the Island Island Development Act in 1980s. But their Coastal Management Act was, I think, coming to force in 1990, right? And particularly in 20th centuries, Korea also come up with a law on uninhabited, regulation on uninhabited laws and some specific islands. Yeah, I forgot to mention something. Some country formulated some laws exclusively dedicated to island and adjacent ecosystem. And also come up with some kind of laws on specific islands. So this case could be demonstrated in Japan. I think Japan also come up with a law on Remote Islands Revitalization Act, very early stage, 1950. They also come up with some laws on specific island, like Amari, right? Like Amari, like Ogasawara, we call it English Bonin Island. And recently, I think not recently, 10 years ago, they also come up with specific law on Kagoshima Island. You know, give a very, how to say, actionable description about the role of the island, how to develop, how to conserve, right? What kind of activity should be very much prohibited? What kind of activity should be promoted? So this is something I think very interesting in terms of China. I think island also start to draw attention just in 2010. In 2010, they come up with a law on island protection, national law on island protection in 2010. And following up to that, they start to already to formulate the National Island Development Plan in 2012. And those kind of island development plan will be, reviewed on a regular basis. So this is something I think Maldives, I think when we talk about small island, we cannot, overlook the small island developing country. Actually, small island developing country, as we understood, they are very strong advocates for climate discussion, climate negotiations. So actually, they put a very good, integrated policy, legal, and management framework in order to achieve, conservation and also development of the island. Maldives, I think they have we call it 4-1 policy. One island, one company, one building, one culture. So this is kind of a policy, I think, very unique, So that's what I said. One size for all never works, particular island, because each island, all islands are individually distinct, right? So particular for our small island, like the Indonesia is a maritime continent country, but with a lot of small islands. I think the management must be different from small island developing country. So this is something I think we have to really, have a very good understanding about the natural and the socio-economic context, and then formulate the, actionable and the reasonable, laws and regulations. So next, please. Next, please. Okay, I'm going to conclude. So this small island, I talked already, small island recently, I think they're moving very fast in terms of management and also conservation of the small island. I think this could be reflected by Mauritius. If you have time, I think you can find, the integrated coastal management framework that formulated by Mauritius. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. So what's the status in this region? I think there's no exceptional, I think, for our islands in this region, right? We have a very, first, there are so many countless islands in this region, varying greatly in size, climate, and organism that inhabited them, right? So, and also the region, all islands host a very special geological feature, right? And also attractiveness, I think, in terms of land and the seascapes. So small island, I think development, this topic have been repeatedly, I think, emphasized over the last 10 to 20 years. Because the region, as you know, the whole region, Asia Pacific region, serve as a growth engine of the globe, of the world, right? So including small island, I think they are also undergoing the traumatic social economic development over the last 20 years. So ecosystem, of course, cannot, I think, avoid the impact of the escalating impact cannot be avoided for our small island. So there's a lot of things. I just took some photo from all islands in this region, so like the plastic pollution, like the sewage, disposal, like solid waste management, like coastal erosion, and also coastal planning as well. Some build their construction too close to the land. I think also you can find a lot of similarities in different islands in Indonesia as well, right? So this is something, I think, a situation similar to common issues in the world, but more severe, simply because our region has been developed very fast over the last 20 years, right? And with a huge population for livelihood, how to really find the balance, between the development and the, conservation and sustainable development. So this is something really, I think our researcher, policymaker, ocean practitioner really need to come up with intelligence to find a way. I think that this is the situation you couldn't find in anywhere, any else, in other place in the region. Next, please. So that's the perspective for the research and development. Next, please. So island research and development. I'm sure island research here is not just focused on scientific research, not only focus on natural research, natural science, but also include policy research. So I think for our research community, right, including those people working in law, legislative management, whether we can examine our existing law is enough, adequate to address this challenge. Our law is enough to apply ecosystem approach, right? So there's something, I think, our mechanism, management mechanism, is functional enough. Although I know the ocean is very complex, it's issue is scattered among different agencies. So whether we can come up with some kind of a very efficient coordination mechanism, I think Indonesia, you have coordination ministry, whether it's efficient enough, right, to manage those issues, not only challenges, but also opportunities that, could be generated from island development, like the tourism, right, isn't wrong. So second, I think also based on those kind of law regulation, whether it's necessary to come up with an island development plan. Some country call it island protection plan. Some country call it national development plan. I think whatever, I think those plans emphasize the sustainable development of islands and associated ecosystem, and also including classification of island based on their economic, socio-economic values. Because different islands, I believe they have a different function, different roles in the whole national socio-economic plan, right? Some island may be just only used for the base point for territorial sea. Some island may be used for, to develop, right? Fishery, aquaculture, tourism, right? So all those kind of, I think, need to be done based on science and also research. So come back to the basic point. We have to set up baseline. The baseline is not only how many countries in Indonesia, how many islands. We also need to understand what kind of situation, right? The economic, ecologic, what we call natural condition, or socio-economic condition. If we put something, what kind of a change would be foreseeable, right? So this kind of a baseline information and also regular review of that kind of baseline is very much necessary. So you can imagine how many research and development is in it. It's needed. So I think Pakistan also conduct a lot of research, even in Pari Island, you know, even for coastal habitat, you have to do a very adequate and sufficient survey to understand the coverage, species, and condition as well, and also the tribe. So a lot of science actually needed that can underpin the sustainable development management of island. Last but not least, I think from very early beginning, since the Agenda 21 emphasized the importance of international cooperation collaboration as an essential to achieve, right, sustainable development. This is also same case with small islands, right? So that's why we need to develop the international cooperation among countries, particularly with small island, to share the commonality, right? To promote practice, particularly in those activities like ecological restoration, freshwater, you know, freshwater conservation, sewage and solid waste management, and also economy development as well, like seaweed industry as well, right? So this is something last but not least. So that's why I think also this is the diagram for this, you know, a scientific input to the ecosystem-based management in islands. Next, please. So last but just very peaceful information. As I mentioned, the international cooperation should be always, you know, conducted, you know, for many, many years, simply because the country, the island need communicate, need to learn from each other, need to share the lessons and good experience. So this is why international also community come up with UN Decade Ocean Science. Next, please. UN Decade Ocean Science, you know, try to engage ocean scientists and also our stakeholders together to develop scientific knowledge and the partnership needed for sustainable development. So the UN Decade vision is the science we need for the ocean we want, including islands as well. How to generate, take this opportunity to generate, to develop partnership and also to catalyze ocean science solution. So that UN Decade will last for until 2030. But I think the islands issues will much more, you know, longer than 2030. But at least this is the first time for UN to rely on ocean science to come up with the ocean science solution for many challenges that have been faced by ocean, including islands. So next, please. So I want to conclude my talk just by next, please, thanking you know, all partners and also, you know, to support our country partner in the region. Next, click one more. We will also the UN Decade Regional Conference that take place in April, hosted by the government of Thailand, you know, to try to catalyze, you know, the researcher and also relevant stakeholders in order to catalyze, we call it generate science needed, and also ocean solutions. So I think a small island is very unique. I think it's worthwhile, but nothing that is worthwhile is ever easy, right? But we have to start. Particularly, I think Indonesia is on the, you know, beginning of rapid development. The islands, so many numerous. How to really highlight the role of island in the whole country's socio-economic development, right? So this is something I think I would share from my you know, preliminary thoughts, and also for your comments, and also suggestions, and also criticism. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pak Bengki. So please hold if you have a question. We'll start with the next speaker. So no around 11:05. So I would like to ask Tony, Dr. Tony Wage, to give a presentation on improving livelihoods small island community under the climate change scenario. So you have 15-20 minutes. Pak Tony, please do. Thank you very much.
Okay, a very good morning to all of you. Thank you, my older brother, moderator, and colleague speakers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm maybe the least person here that you can call scientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm a project manager. So what I'm trying to present is not very scientific by your standards, but I'll try to throw out some data. So I'm going to tell a story about a project called CORMAP, stands for Coral Reef Rehabilitation and Management Program, and that is at the beginning with some background, and then what we have done, because we completed the project, and then a bit of lesson learned at the end. Can I have the next slide, please? So I am directing an organization called the Indonesia Climate Change Trust Fund. And by its very name, we have to deal with the climate change issue. And our mandate at the Ministry of Development Planning in Bappenas is to support the government in trying to meet the target of the nationally determined contribution, the NDC. So all we deal with was with issue with climate change, and in this case, issue with the marine and coastal ecosystems. I just want to start off with this slide, which everybody knows that the planet, our planet Earth, is getting warm, increased, bit by bit, for 1 decade, and then 1 century, and so on. So we are not at that moment, according to report, not doing well in terms of managing the climate variation and temperature increase. And the last point was, I don't know if you can read it, but last July of this year was recorded as the hottest month with the surface temperature increase by 1.5 degrees centigrade. And that is quite alarming for us, especially the ocean. Next. So it impacts all aspects of life, basically. And in particular, as I mentioned, the coastal and ocean ecosystems. You name it, on the water availability, we have heard from the previous speakers, and from Pa Handoko about, what we have to do in terms of mitigating and adapting to this impact of climate change. So we have the impact on water availability, health and well-being, cities and settlements. That's what we are facing now with Jakarta. But I would like to focus more on the biodiversity and ecosystems. And that has some impact directly on other economic activities, mainly the tourism. We heard from the minister about what's going to happen if we have this sea level rise, shipping, coastal development, and so on. So the reason why I would like to have, and can I have the next slide, please? So is to show that when we work with the small island communities, even given that the small countries, you mentioned about Seychelles, Maldives, or the largest archipelagic countries like Indonesia, we are facing the same issues when it comes to climate change. So first, we have the global sea level rise. Of course, that has been affecting us. Damage on the mangrove, seagrass, coral reef ecosystem due to erosion, abrasions, so on. Decrease in coastal and marine biodiversities. We have the decline in terms of the biodiversity of the fish, invertebrates, and so on. Rising temperature and acidification, that's really one that I'd like to focus with our coral reef ecosystems through this project, because I believe coral reef is one of the most impacted or affected ecosystems due to climate change. And you can read all these reports from the IPCC reports saying that, maybe we won't be seeing any coral reef in the next several decades. Is that true? Before that happens, what should we do? So as a result, this is actually, I'm taking study from colleagues back from UBC, British Columbia, with Vicky, William, and Rashid. When they did this modeling of, what the impact of the climate change on fisheries, quite alarming that, in the tropical countries such as Indonesia, we will see some decline in the fisheries productivity by 2050, which is not very far from now. And that is, a result from the modeling. But what I think necessary and required is, as we know, when we deal with climate change, we have to have more adaptation and mitigation measures. I'm singling out climate change as the impact because of what we are doing with this, but I know several others like factors such as pollutions and others. It is very could have the same amount of effect to this precious ecosystem. So, but I'm going to focus on the climate change. But those were the background of the story that I said that, that I want to talk about the project, the CORMAP project that, that we just finished. Can I have the next slide, please? CORMAP. For people here in the room, and I guess from the brain researchers used to be LIPI, you are quite familiar with this project because you involved have some work started at the beginning. So we are already on the third phase and we are completing that. And it sort of like recorded as the largest management measures taken by the government of Indonesia to conserve and rehabilitate coastal resources. Yes, that's true because, it spanned over 25 years. It uses more than 200 million US dollar in terms of loan, government loan and grants, and to mention like the national budget that we had. So we from Bappenas and ICCTF involved in the last phase, which is the third phase, starting in 2014, but we started in 2019 until present, and we just actually going to close one project from the ADB. But just to give you some perspective about this project, the CORMAP project has, like I said, three phases. Number one is the initiation back in 1998, started and an acceleration of or implementation, and then the institutionalization or the legacy phase. And on the right-hand panel, this is the area or the part of a project CORMAP that ICCTF and Bappenas is involved. So we have basically two projects, the same name, CORMAP. One was funded by GEF through the World Bank. The other one is through the Asian Development Bank. Both have different locations. For the World Bank part, we had our project on the most eastern part of Indonesia in Raja Ampat and in Laut Sawu, covering 4 MPAs, totaling about more than 5 million hectares. And the project is just finished last year. And then the second one is the CORMAP with ADB, covering a smaller area, 3 MPAs, about 28,856 hectares. And thus we are just going to finish that. The main, and that's located in Bali and West Nusa Tenggara. So those 4 MPAs in Raja Ampat and Laut Sawu, and then 3 MPAs in Bali and West Nusa Tenggara, with the objective to improve the management effectiveness of this MPA. So what we are doing is, trying to help the support, the establishment, the improvement of livelihood in the communities. Like I said, and again, we did not do some research, but some of our partners did some research, and then I will show you some of the results. So next, please. These are some of the activities we are doing. Top panel is in Raja Ampat, in the village called Yen Sawai. We involve the community because that's the key for the success of our projects. In this area in Yen Sawai, they have the issue of erosions. And the local communities agree that, we have to do something. And that something is through rehabilitation and transplantation. So like, we did more than 1,500 seagrass seedling clumps, planted, mangroves, rehabilitation and planting, and then the coral reefs, more than 1,600, so 1,650 coral fragments. All was done by the local communities in several villages. We are talking about several villages in West Papua, and that is quite large compared to the regular villages in other parts of Indonesia. In a little bit more smaller area in Nusa Penida and Gili Matra. Gili Matra stands for Gili Meno, Air, and Trawangan in Lombok. So we planted also, and issue about erosion, abrasion are the same, but yet they have very high pressure of tourists. So that's why, we involve not just the local communities, but also the tourists coming to Gili Trawangan, for instance, to plant mangroves and coral reefs. So we have more than 13,730 coral fragments through this establishing of the fish domes and 1,200 reef stars. So those are for the ecosystem rehabilitations. And then what is the result? The results from the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, now they're using these indicators called EFICA, effectiveness of how you manage the MPA. So the blue and red bars represent the before and after, just over 1 year period. And this assessment was conducted some by you here from BRIN, but also basically from KKP on these 7 MPAs. So 4 in West Papua and Sulawesi, and then 3 are in Bali and West Nusa Tenggara. They are all showed an increase for just over 1 year. Actually, KKP, the Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, just reported that the new evaluations came out just recently in 2023. They showed a better and significant increase. So this is just over a year from 2020, 2021 to 21, 2022 from the 7 MPAs. So 1 year period, an increase of the EFICA, which is the effectiveness of how you manage these MPAs. We did, of course, improve the conservation of several charismatic and key species in this area found, such as the mola. You can find that in Nusa Penida, mola, sharks, turtles, manta rays, and whales. I have some pictures about what we did with that, and also sustainable fisheries practices and the development of sustainable seaweed farming. It's very important for these local communities. Again, these are the activities, work that we did directly with the communities. As you have heard from the previous speakers and from the keynote speakers, the issue when we deal with small islands, with climate change, is directly at the grassroots. Of course, you need the policy level, but if you want to have some real measures of adaptations and mitigation, then you do at the local level. Next, please. So again, showing you the result of what we did with the local communities, with the women group, with the youth group, with the surveillance group. So in Nusa Penida, we know that Nusa Penida is one of the producer of seaweed. So we increased the production capacity of how they convert this or use this seagrass, or I'm sorry, seaweed to make it as a liquid soap. In Gili Balu, this is another place in Nusa Tenggara Barat. You have the product fish. Before they know nothing about this, and now we introduce the technique. And also one particular, and I just found out that, in Nusa Tenggara Timur, in Semau, they produce shallot, bawang merah. And those products has a big or high quality, not less, different than the one from Brebes. So actually they want to have some sort of like a know and help assistance how to deal with this. So we brought people from Central Java to teach them how to process shallot or bawang merah. Next, please. Okay, 5 minutes. I'll make it quick. So this is what I said with when we dealt with the species based. Again, the reason why we do this because we want to know the distribution of this particular species. The top panel on the left was actually the result of the tagging when we put on the one blue whales. We put the tag in the South Sea, and over 3 months period, we found out that that particular individual went down to Australia, and then after 3 months, we lost, but we know that it is going to be back again up to do its migrating back to the north. Why this is important? Because we need to know if we want to develop, say, whale watching activities. When are these big animals, creatures, are be back in South Sea? What kind of species are going to be back there? Similar, so that we know that particular individual like to go down intercontinental from Asia to Australia. And then down on the left, we put this sort of like a satellite tagging on an individual. We did actually on 10 individual of turtles, green turtles from Gili Trawangan. And for you who are quite familiar with Gili Trawangan, it is on the 3 Gilis, but this particular one want to go to Lombok. So we saw that, okay, he wants to visit the city and then back to Gili Trawangan. So those are the information that we need to know if we want to support such as the ecotourism activities. Can you say that, to the tourists, okay, well, if you snorkel or if you dive here, you will be guaranteed to see turtles. When and what kind of turtles are you going to see? So those are the interventions that we did, putting this tagging. Similarly with Mola in Nusa Penida, we provide and develop the code of conduct for these species. But the impact, I think, that we need to have is that, for the industry, sustainable industry, a species-based or ecosystem-based, as well as the community-based implementation. This is the final one. Next, this is another study that we did. Last one, Pak Sainal, on snapper fisheries. Why it is important? Because in Nusa Tenggara, snapper fish and Nusa Tenggara Barat and Nusa Tenggara Timur, snappers are quite important. And the supply chains, you cannot see the lines, but basically at the top was the countries where all these fishes were being exported to. So they're including Malaysia, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, and some to the US and Timor-Leste, and as well as Australia. So the premium, what they call the premium quality of the fish, must be preserved, and so that we look at the biology, a little bit of the biology of the fish, especially for the species called Luchanus malabaricus, kakap merah, red snappers. The introduction of some policy. So this is on the policy, right? The harvest strategy of these red snappers are very important when we work with the communities, especially with the fishermen. Most of the fish, I don't know you could see, but there's a line called the length of maturity. Most of the fish were caught were actually above or past the length of maturity. That means the introduction of the hooks, for instance, the J hooks, reducing number of hooks, the implementation of catch allocation do work, but we have to make sure that this is only in one particular area. Let's say what we call the FMA or Fisheries Management Area of 5.3. 573, sorry. So several studies, yes, we have conducted also some oceanographical data that we found in this area, because what we want to picture here, to paint a picture of in the area called the Lesser Sunda or Sunda Kecil. So that's why we have that locations from Bali, West Nusa Tenggara, East Nusa Tenggara, and all the way up to West Papua. Final one, last one. Lesson learned. So I believe that if we do this science-based or based on our policy on the scientific information and data, that will result in a good and reasonable project outcome as well as results. This is, and if you provide that and then make it in a simple way to the local government, to the local communities, I believe they can understand that. You don't want to show all the results as I mentioned about the length, frequency, and so on. No. That's not for the local community. And you say that you will be able to catch bigger fish, i.e., more income. Then they'll click and then they'll understand. But those have to be based on data and information. Second, local government and local stakeholder early engagement. This is what I guess people know, that if you want to have a successful project for over only short period of time, let's say 2.5 or 3 years, you have to involve the local government and local communities. Try to find the champions because they will help you in terms of the implementations. Third one is funding. Yes, everybody knows that project finished and then project gone. But what about the continuity, the sustainability? So in this case, the local government and the local communities, but morely on the local government, must be involved in the beginning. We are lucky that we worked early on with, let's say, institutions such as Bapeda or the Dinas. So by the end of the project, they will be able to include this project into their regular projects, to be funded, because that's what they need. Not all, but most of them. If they think this is a good one, then they'll support it. The handover to the local government is important. And finally, involvement of target communities. Of course, you plan to have as many as possible communities to involve, but at the end you can only do a handful number of communities, and that's what we learned, that to have a successful project, that's what you have to do. I think those are several lessons learned that I could share with you with our corner project, and I'm happy to be here. And then thank you for colleagues from RAIN, of course, because the corner project also was started with you and with KKP and others. So thank you again. And to my older brother, thank you very much for the time. Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Tony. Saya kira kita menginjak ke pembicara terakhir nih. Saya coba bahasa Indonesia, so I speak in bahasa. So make sure everyone wake up. Karena kelihatannya udah pada ngantuk ini. So I think please hold if you have any question or write it down, and then we will have a few minutes, I think, because we take a few minutes left the time, yeah. So the last speaker for the first session is Professor Hiroaki Saito. He will share with us about sustainable use of marine resources in Japan. So he has a kind of a project, yeah, between AURI and local community and local government. So I think it's quite interesting for us to learn how academic institution link with the local government and civic society. Professor Saito, please, your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Zainab. This is my great honor to have opportunity to give presentation here about some example of the small island project in Japan. And of course, Indonesia and Japan or Southeast Asian countries is a totally different situation, but you may find some of the useful information from my presentation, I hope. That next, please. Okay, Japan, as like Indonesia, we have many islands, 14,000 islands there, but only 421 inhabited islands. And this is the account over 2% of Japanese land area and about 0.5% population. Most of the island is a very small population, and most of them are less than 50,000. And there are 200 islands, less than 500 people. So, but 4.7% of national park is in islands. This means very, very rich in nature. So rich nature, unique culture there, and but a low and declining population. This is very, very serious issue in Japan. Please, next, please. So declining population and aging is a very serious issue in Japan, island in Japan. And because of the limited job opportunity and limited medical facility and high cost of transportation, both materials and passengers. And in very small island, absent of high school, this means no young people, young generation want to stay living island. This is very, very serious. And the rate of aging, Japan is a very aged country. 28% is over 65 years old. This is totally different in Indonesia, but we have a similar situation in Korea, China, and other developed countries. For example, Amami Oshima is 31%, Iron 35%. Some Yashinoshima, Nagasaki Prefecture, this small island, 50% is aged people. So this is you can imagine many serious issues about sustainability of the economy and everything. Next, please. So there are many laws promote development, support transportation, or some kind of conservation. And yep, it is relatively well organized or well prepared, I would say. But next, please. But so next, please. Central government. Okay. Central government put significant amount of money. So significant proposed measure from government, but it is very often that the subsidy-dependent economy and society developed in some island, and over-exploitation because of money, or chance of the development, and the degradation of ecosystem service. And I would say not very, very efficient enough to solve the aging issue or other social issue of the islands. Next, please. So we assign, I'm very natural scientist, and Tokyo, our institution is a natural science institution. So what can science contribute? This is my first question. Next, please. So industry in small island is usually agriculture, forest, fishery, tourism. These are based on healthy ecosystem. So how to realize sustainable use of the ecosystem and realize the sustainable society in this condition? Next, please. So I'm targeting Amami and Ryukyu. Ryukyu is island. Ryukyu is Okinawa. So there are many islands. 1,256 in Kagoshima Prefecture and 691 in Okinawa Prefecture. Many islands there, and 81 inhabited island there. And my target is Amami Island. Next, please. Okay, Amami Island is a subtropical water influenced by the closure. And this is an area frequent typhoon attack. And but they are very, very unique culture, quite different from the mainland Japan. And these islands are some are volcanic islands, and some are uplifted coral atoll. So volcanic islands are very high altitude and rich water because of mountain and many rain, and the narrow plain. So subtropical forest there, and but low agriculture potential. And but on the other hand, the uplifted coral atoll, low altitude and limited water supply because of the mountain is low, and relatively wide plain. So this induces a limited timber and unstable agriculture production because of the water. And next, please. And these are Amami Island, and you can see the size of the island, and the population is the biggest. Amami is 57,000, and there are 5 high schools there. And the other island, 4 island, 1 high school there. So they can prepare high school, how to say, study to high school, but every young people want to have higher education, will leave the island and go to the Osaka or Tokyo or Kagoshima, and only limited people return to the island after graduation of high school. And some Yoro or Uke is a small island, and of course no high school. And this is if they have kids, they have to send main island or Amami or other island for high school education. This is very, very serious issues. Next, please. So Amami Island is located at the northern edge of subtropical region of Japan, but because of global warming, temperature increasing in the Japanese water, and we use some kind of the subtropicalization. Japan is getting to be a subtropical region, and this is a very serious issue, not only islands, but also mainland Japan. The next, please. So subtropicalization of western region of Japan due to global warming, and we see northern migration of coral species and coral reef, or northern migration of subtropical fish, and the degradation of seaweed forest because of the low nutrient of the subtropical water and the coral reef, coral species. Next, please. And this is this year's sea surface temperature anomaly, and you can see in the northern part of Japan, 5 degrees higher than normal. This is it is almost impossible to believe before happen, and because of the northern shift of the closure, and this changed the ecosystem totally. So how to treat of the global warming or subtropicalization of Japan is a very essential issue, not only for islands, southern island, but the western part and northern part. Okay, next, please. So we started Amami Closure Project from 2022, and this is a science and scientific contribution for sustainable development of small islands and the coastal community in Japan under the serious influence of global warming or subtropicalization. Next, please. And here, there are several terms. This is a research project. So assessment of subtropical environment ecosystem Amami Island. First, the ecosystem are well preserved compared to Okinawa. Okinawa is fully developed by tourism or agriculture or residence. So, and we carry out basic research on the changing climate or environment and the impacts on the human spirit. But unique is the establishment of advanced education and research platform for physical oceanography, marine ecosystem, and marine ecosystem services, and the extreme weather or earthquake and tsunamis. And the revitalization of local community to the region of the SDGs, and preparing best scientific knowledge for tourism, which is a key industry for sustainable development of Amami Island. Next, please. Okay, and okay, next, please. So this too is a very unique. And the next, please. And this idea, some relationship, having relation with this community or some education is based on our experience, 2011 Great is the tsunami earthquake and the tsunami. We have a coastal station in Iwate Prefecture, and oh, please, Peter, here. And because of tsunami, the station was totally destroyed like this. And of course, community was totally influenced by the tsunami. And after 2011, next week, we started the School of Marine Science and the local hopes in Sanriku area, of course. This is a unique with the marine science for develop the identity, local identity of the people, especially for next generation, junior high school or high school student. So to find the potential of the sea for the region's restoration from 2011 Great East Japanese earthquake, quake, and tsunami, and the development with young people who will play a leading role in the future for the region. Next, please. And yeah, this is a kind of the project, but this is very important. Is interactive learning of the oceanographic and the social cultural uniqueness of each bay of the area at the junior high school to establish local identity in the next generation and to find the potential for the regional development. Because there is many bays separated by mountains, and each bay is different ecosystem and different culture. So we need to know what is the difference, what the uniqueness of each bay. And this is the same for islands. Each island is in the subtropical region in Amami, but the culture ecosystem is very different. We know the different, and the people living in the region also should know the difference or uniqueness of the ecosystem and culture. Next, please. So building a community-based platform of atmosphere and ocean science in Amami, this is a project, and the regional development and future human resource development through School of Marine Science and Local Hope in Amami. So we carried out research about understanding past, present, and future marine ecosystem, and understanding the influence of human activity on marine system and the feedback, but also establish a local identity based on the understanding of the ecosystem and the education for sustainable development with a healthy ecosystem. And this is for SDGs. Next, please. And this is some time cost of my crucial project. And research and education is like this. And the communication local community is very important. And some kind of joint research with other universities than Tokyo. And the collaboration with Institute of Medical Science, we have some station of Institute of Medical Science for Tokyo for infectious disease. I skip this. Please, next, please. Next, please. And we started our scientific activity, and yeah, we get good interest from local community, but in the same time, next, please. Sorry, we started carried out outreach activity like a School of Marine Science and Local Hope in Amami, or collaboration with this Local Hope in Sanriku, and some kind of joint activity with Amami Island people and the Sanriku coast people attacked by tsunami. And next, please. And one of the main is a summer science camp for Yoron High School. Yoron is 5,000 people there, and one high school there. But this is very nice. How to say? Because of small size, young society is very, how to say, close relationship with high school student, and high school student also received good interest from society. This is a totally different than Tokyo as a big cities. And this is a good point. And we carry out some summer camp, do chemistry on your surrounding water with Aori and our high school and some government, regional government people. And the next, please. But this is not a one-way lecture. We received some proposal, research proposal from high school student, and show your motivation, a science plan, and how to report to your obtained result to other students who are not possible to join the summer camp, and also to the local community. And we interviewed and select some very good student, high school student. And the next, please. This is June, and in July, we high school students collect water sample from 50 region of the Yoron Island. And the next, please. And the summer camp is in our Kashua campus. And yeah, some pre-treatment or analysis with a very state-of-the-art equipment of our prepared. And of course, under the guidance of the graduate school graduate student, and the data analysis with graduate student. And this is a very good opportunity for high school students to know what is high-tech or present data science, but also this is very good for graduate student to how to teach or explain your science to high school student or general public classes. Next, please. And this is a presentation from the high school student. And sorry, some Japanese here, but one part is water, its chemistry and the society. This is a very chemical oceanographic and chemical analytical chemistry presentation. And the next one is answering some kind of rumor on water in your own, like a taste or quality of water, tap water, or some kind of superstition related to the water. And this is kind of the some kind of legend of the island or something. But answering this question from the science viewpoint, and this is targeting to the other student not attending to the summer camp and also general public in the Yoron Island. So this is kind of the good collaboration between scientists in Aoi and high school student and general public in Yoron Island, and they understand what is the water quality, what is the influence of the taste, and how wastewater influence the water resources. And this is the kind of the start of our activity, but I believe in this is a nice start, I guess. Okay, next, please. Okay, Aoi. Oh yeah. Aoi is in near Tokyo, and we have a OTC station in the Sanriku. And next, please. And so in the past, our effort is mainly in the mainland Japan, but the start of the Amami project. Next, please. Okay, next, please. Our research area is extended to the south. So we now possible to do comparative study between subarctic Sanriku area and subtropical Amami Island. And we also developed the section for the Southeast Asia research alignment. Next, please. This new section started in this April is based on the long history of JSP's project in the Southeast Asia, and many green scientists or Indonesian scientists also joined this project. Some 200 scientists joined this project. And we have a multidisciplinary science we carried out, and we have a very strong human network, essential for international cooperation. So now in the Southeast Asia or Japan, we have a many emerging issue of marine ecosystem and society in the Anthropocene, like global change or acidification, everything. So we need to sustain and explore the human network we have developed for cope with this very difficult scientific and social issue. The next, please. So this is the idea. We have this is our section, U-Tokyo section, but this is not only for U-Tokyo, not only for our. This is we may have some national focal point, and we exchange idea and what is a new issue, new emerging issue to be tackled with, and we seek job funding, fundraising, and we may develop a new joint project under this network. So we need new idea, new collaboration based on this new human network. And the next, please. Using this Southeast Asia research alignment section, we may develop, next, please. Okay, next. So not only for Japanese water, next, please. Not only for Japan, next, please. And the next. Japanese subtropical and subarctic, but also some kind of Pacific Rim collaboration network we want to develop. And this is our experience in the Amami or other Southeast Asia. It may be very, very useful, I think, to collaborate in the future to tackle with very difficult scientific and social issue under the global warming and for SDGs. And okay, this is my talk, and thank you very much for your attention. Thank you.
Let me speak in bahasa Indonesia again. Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita udah menyelesaikan 3 pembicara, sangat melelahkan memang ya. Kita punya sebenarnya hanya 10 menit nih discussion. So now around 11:50, so we have another 10 or 15 minutes for discussion. If any question, please do. Pak Bustamam, Bu Neni from that side over there? If not, ya Pak ini, Pak Asep. So let's start question and discussion ya. Pak Bustamam, please raise your question and to whom your question or comment be given ya. Ya, silakan Pak.
Ya, terima kasih Pak Jenal. Selamat siang Bapak Ibu semua. Thank you for the speaker for great presentation. So my first question, I'll be going very brief, actually to Weng Si. You know that last year almost 100. I'm Bustamam, so actually representing like small island community. So last year in Canada, that's almost 200 like commit to declare what we call marine protected area. It's mean 30 by 30, meaning like by the end of this decade, we're gonna have like 30% of our global ocean being protected. So as UNESCO, IOC in the regional, what actually the approach, the strategy that has been implementing by the UNESCO to support this initiative? So this is question number 1. For Pak Tony, for Indonesia is more ambitious, I guess, because they declare like 30 by 45, meaning like 30% by 2045, they're gonna have like 30%. It's around 100 million hectares of marine protected area. So what actually has been done by ICCTF through your project? I know your project, the second project will be accomplished this year, and then we are not sure you're gonna have like a new project to create a new MPA. What we have shown is just like to increase the efficacy score. It's good. I mean, like to get an optimum manage of MPA. So this is the question for you. And the last question is for Prof. Saito, I guess, what is the challenge of the use of marine resources in island of Japan in terms of the policy? I mean, any contribution from the university to make this policy happen, and then so to make use any marine resources can be what we say like useful for the community in the country. Thank you very much. Terima kasih Pak Jen.
Thank you very much. I think a very good question. Not only, about 30 to 30, right, target. We also need thinking about MDG, Millennium Development Goals, and replaced by the Sustainable Development SDG, right? So 30-30, I would say is a goal of the whole part of international policy or goal development framework. How international organization can help? We have to understand the main driving force for achieving this goal lie with the countries. Because international organization, in this case, like UNESCO, like others, is to help facilitate, catalyze, right? Because how to achieve the 30% of the marine area could be protected by 2030, key power with the countries. So this is something I think this is very important because country always consider international organization as kind of a, another separate, organism, a separate organization. But actually, country is a part of the organization, right? And the country set up the goal together collectively, right? So for us working for UN, we provide support, we provide assistance, but the main driving force must come from countries. So I wonder whether I clarify, the role of the countries, in the achievement of all those goals. So like a Millennium Development Goals, many goals hadn't been achieved. Even the SDG goals, right? Particularly SDG 14. I think SDG 14 is the least achieved goals compared to other 16 goals, totally 17 goals. So SDG is the least achieved goal so far. There are many reasons. So this is something, this is the similar case to 30-30. Whether the country can achieve 30% by 2030. So what kind of this, I think this is very, 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 very challenging because country commit to achieve that goal by some deadline. So what kind of plan? This is something. So very challenging.
Thank you Pak Wengsi. Semoga menjawab Pak Bus ya. It depends on us, right? Each country. So Pak Tony will be held.
Thank you, Pak Zainal, Prof. Pertanyaan bagus. I'm sorry, in English ya. Good questions, and thank you for mentioning about the conference, the MPA conference in Vancouver, Canada. 30 by 30 was actually a global target and a global, I would say something that most countries are trying to achieve. However, and this is what we need to line up with what each individual countries can or will be able to do. And what I'm trying to say here is that we don't want to create the paper parks, like, MPAs that, yes, you have, certain amount of hectares, but you cannot do anything on that parks. So I think the policy, and this is, I believe, came from KKP, from Ministry of Marine Affairs and Fisheries, to have 30 by 45 is smart, is more realistic, and we can actually do something more in between, that, 30 by, compared to 30 by 30 and 30 by 45. Because I was there in Canada for that conference. I was talking to other countries and I said, yeah, 30 by 30, so what? So what about the other 70% that are not covered? So that's something that, we have to think of. So for Indonesia, having that, 30 by 45, I think it's a good thing to do. Now, what ICCTF has done in the past, yes, through CoreMap, and we are finishing the one with ADB. In the future, we don't have exactly what we are or we have done with the CoreMap, but I believe by having this EFICA, for instance, as an indicators for improvement of the management capacity of the MPA management, I think that will give something to that 30%. At least we have done something. I wish we could do more. There will be no CoreMap 4 in the future, but similar project like this will be very, very much helpful, I guess. Thank you for that good question, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Tony, for your answer. I hope it's clear, Bapak Ibu sekalian ya. So next, Pak Prof Saito.
Okay. Thank you very much. The question, and in Japan, fisheries are very, very important industry, and the fishermen are very good light to use the area, and the conservation is a very not the main purpose target of the usage of the sea, but the situation is changing, and the stakeholder using the marine ecosystem or sea area is increasing, like a wind turbine or leisure fishing, tourism, and also conservation is very, very important. And now we need to develop the new scheme of the money special planning. And this is because of the several laws guarantees fishermen can use some area, but the fishermen is not only the stakeholders. So we need a new scheme to how to get the request and request to use a money area and with various stakeholder and the citizens, not related to industry, but the citizens are also a very important stakeholder to use money ecosystem services like leisure or some spiritual healing or kind of using the surfing or everything. So developing the new scheme to receive the voice from stakeholder every area and developing some money special planning scheme is very, very important. Still not legal system about money special planning is there. So now it is changing, but this is a very important issue for sustainable use of money ecosystem and the benefit for people in Japan and also maybe and also Indonesia, I guess. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Saito. I think we move to next question. Ibu Dr. Neni, please raise your question. To whom your question will be directed. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question to Professor Saito. This is very interesting about the program that you have with the young people to increase their awareness about the potential resources, for example. But this is against the aging. The young people normally will go out from their land. So how can you keep, or what kind of step or program maybe to keep the young people to be in there and involved until they're adult?
Yeah,
Thank
very,
you.
very good question. And frankly, most high school students do not get job in the island. And most go to the Osaka, Kagoshima, Tokyo to get job. But if they have a very, how to say, serious knowledge about the culture and the nature of the Amami Island or his birthplace or pride of the ancestors or everything, he may think to return to contribute to society of something. I don't say every student go back, but 20%, 30%, now 10, 15% come back, but 20, 30% come back. This is some progress. And also this idea, how great, how beautiful, how nice the culture and the ecosystem, something. New person growing up as a mainland Japan or other island or maybe foreign country, go into the island to and start a new business based on her some kind of high tech or web science or some timber or agriculture, even agriculture. And this is a new broad recruitment. So two strategy need encourage more people, students born in Amami Island came back to the island based on the knowledge of the nature and the culture, and also advertising the how beautiful area, nice area to Amami, and recruit new blood from the who growing up the mainland or foreign country. And this, so some kind of continuous effort to show what is Amami nature or Amami culture is very important. Yeah, this is not easy, but if we stop, it is very easy to take right progress aging. Thank you very much.
Bagaimana Bu Neni? Thank you very much. Prof. Suhendar? Yes.
Thank you, Pak Jena. It is very interesting talking about how to manage small island for sustainable use for the community of the life here. So I just want to know Do you have maybe any good example for the best, the good management of small island for Wenji mungkin in the South Asia maybe or time, and for Saito Sensei in Japan, and for Pak Tony mungkin example from the for Cormet experience, and what is the most keyword, yeah, the most effective keyword, how to manage the resources of small island to keeping for sustainable development of the to maintain the community life, the livelihood, yeah, to support how the community life in the small island can their welfare is not disturbed with the other stress or like now tourism and something that, yeah, that is one. Thank you.
Go first. Prof, it is not easy to find the best examples, but I think for me, the important underlying keywords, using your words, is sustainability. And that is what we would like to have in managing small islands. I'll give you an example. In one of our intervention in Nusa Tenggara Timur, in Nusa Manuk, for over more than 20-something years, on the population, the people on that island never get any electricity. And then we installed the solar panel, enough for few small houses, small households, and to generate electricity for the freezer. And for 22 years, we're not able to switch on and off, the light. That was something that, I saw the biggest and one of the best result of our project for this particular one, right? But move to another example. Let's say take in Gili Trawangan, where you have thousands, of tourists comes every single day. Right now, it's becoming more and more. Or in Nusa Penida, how to manage those thousands of people coming every day? That is the best intervention that we have done by installing the tourism management system, for instance, at least to make sure that, we have, we not pass the carrying capacity, which I believe would be the key factor for sustainability of that small island. So for me, in my experience, working in these small islands, how you can sustain the livelihood, how can sustain the ecosystems. Those are the things that, we would like to see as a success and the best lesson learned. And I think Indonesia has more than enough examples, but if you can go from east to west, so there are hundreds maybe of success stories, but we have also something that, we have to catch up. We have some homeworks, and then problems and issues. And that's not, I think, saying that, we have everything, all rosies, but, we have issues as well. But at least in some small islands, we have done a good job. Thank you, Pak.
Thank you, Pak Tony. Is it answer your question, Pak Asep? Do you have others? No. Okay. Do you would like to add?
No, I think it's just very clear. There's always a gap between developed area and also developing area. In this case, city and island. In some continent country, there are big city and the rural area. So there always that kind of gap. We cannot expect that gap could be filled, but this is the keep ongoing process for filling the gap. So I think for young children, I think for youth, they move into the big city. It's evident because for opportunity, right? Because in our developing countries, simply because there are unequal condition between the city, rural area, or between the continent and the islands. So that's a time they will move to the end, unless the day that we can narrow the gap. So that's why I said the island development, particularly in Indonesia, should be put in a very high position, right? With the support of law, legislation, and management system that can ensure more opportunity, not only job opportunity, but also education opportunity, right? Could be generated. So this is some kind of, I think it's a very much long-term thinking. If you go to the root cause of the gap,
Thank you, Pak Wengsi. Would you like to add, Prof. Saito?
Okay. Just a small and small island is a small resources and a small population, and they cannot do everything like Tokyo, Osaka, or Jakarta. And some kind of balance is very important. Not just only tourism, just fishery, just conservation is not a very good idea for sustainability of the community. And I don't have very good idea about to answer your question, but I think most important is the human resources. How good person is a talented person, with skilled person there in the community is very important. This makes some kind of a well-balanced development is possible. And so I think education is very important, not only from the people, for the island people, but also the recruitment of the other region and the talented people, well-skilled people. We the island have, there is more chance to realize some sustainable community, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, speaker and also colleague. I think the time is already past 10 minutes. So I think, sorry.
Prof. Zaida, we have a question from online
Online question, yeah? I think Pak Saito got a question also. Can you read that one, Pak Saito?
No.
So the question is, Prof. Saito, please explain how important to study past ecosystem. That, and then the second, which component of ecosystem that need more specific attention about rehabilitation of small island. Thank you. And that's the question.
One question is understanding past. We have a very good geochemist and analytical chemistry, and we know the past change of the ecosystem and temperature or ecosystem component from the coral or other water samples and everything. So understanding the past, we can have an idea how to measure the changing ecosystem to global warming, and we understand past change of ecosystem components, and we can, using the data, we can forecast or estimate how future global warming impact of the global warming or marine heat wave to change the marine ecosystem of the Amami Island or some other region. So we can model or estimate what change will be happen near future, and what is the impact of the ecosystem components or structure happened, and some industry may be related to the ecosystem. This is a very good strategy to understand the past and forecast future. I hope this answers your question. And the second one is, in the case of the Amami Island or coral reef ecosystem in Indonesia, coral is very important, but in the same time, algae is very important because algae covers a rock or some substrate, And this is influenced by the temperature and also nutrient, some eutrophication or eutrophication. So looking at the both coral and algal or algal coral relationship or competition is very important to look at the health or some productivity of the ecosystem, I think. Do I answer the question? I hope.
Thank you Pak Prof. Saito. Itu menjawab pertanyaan Bu Retno? Ya, saya kira sudah cukup ya. Terima kasih Bu Retno atas pertanyaannya. Saya kira waktunya udah lewat 15 menit Bapak Ibu sekalian. Sekali lagi saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada para pembicara. I would like to thank as organizing committee for your excellent presentation, and I would like to return this mics to MC. Please applause to all speakers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Zainal, and also all the speakers. Can we have the souvenirs or placard to be give out right now, or we have to wait for gala dinner right now? Sekarang atau? Okay, please stay on the stage, Bapak Ibu. Stay on the stage. We will have the placard for the souvenirs, which will be given by Bapak Wahyu Pandu, Excellencies, and then Bapak Mego. Please, I will invite you to go on the stage to give out the souvenir. Yeah, and also Prof. Zainal. Okay, so Pak Mego will give out the souvenir for Bapak Wenzi, Pak Wenzi, and then Pak Wahyu to Prof. Saito, and then Prof. Zainal to Bapak Tony Wagi. This is little souvenirs from Brin to Pak Wenzi. Thank you very much for coming here, Bapak. Yeah, thank you for the fruitful materials related to small islands. And the second one is Prof. Saito, which will be given by Bapak Wahyu Pandu. Thank you for coming here, Prof. Saito from University of Tokyo. And then next one is Bapak Tony Wagi, which will be given the souvenirs from Professor Zainal Arifin from ICCTF, Climate Change. Thank you for coming here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have done the first session in the first day of the International Workshop on Small Island Research and Development 2023. Perhaps another photo session? Professor Zainal, photo session with all the speakers. Pak Mego, Pak Wahyu boleh maju sedikit untuk foto bersama. Ya, ya, souvenirnya boleh dibawa, diangkat sedikit. Ya. Yeah, please raise your placards. Yeah. Yeah. Another pose, perhaps. Jempolnya boleh. Okay. Thank you very much for all the speakers for the first session, everyone. Okay, and we will continue the second session, but after the lunch break. Ladies and gentlemen, Bapak Ibu sekalian, kita akan melanjutkan second session di jam 1 siang. Sebagai informasi, lunchnya sudah ada di depan sudah ada di depan ruangan, tinggal dinikmati, silakan enjoy saja. Kemudian musolanya ada di depan di dekat lift, Bapak Ibu.